Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Courtney.
And I'm Teddy, and in this video, we're gonna be looking at 11 designer fragrances that can be worn every day for men. So the whole point of this video, not to go for the most, I would say, unique fragrances, but we want fragrances that, say 90% of the situations or more, you could wear this fragrance different times of year, different weather, different scenarios, and probably be covered in most of those situations. So that's what we're going for. These are, again, more for the designer side of things, so just keep that in mind. And also want to have these in price ranges that aren't crazy as well.
Yeah, when you're looking for something versatile that you can wear all year, you want something affordable.
Yeah, relatively affordable. Yeah. So these are all in that range. All right, so I have 6, you have 5. I will start us off here. And first one is from Hermès. This is H24. So I was debating whether or not to do this or Terre d'Hermès, but I just decided to go with this because Terre d'Hermès has been just beloved by so many for some time. This, though, does follow a very similar genre in terms of being more that office-oriented fragrance, but doing it in a much different way. Notes here, clary sage, rosewood, and also a synthetic molecule in here known as sclarine. This is described as having some metallic notes. That's really where that's coming from. Very herbaceous, I would say, as well. We have this woods, office environment. Does maybe lean a bit more mature compared to some of the others that we're gonna go through here today, but I think this is an easy wear to more formal types of situations. That's kind of what I get here with this fragrance, but nice one, simple, straightforward, and still I think classy fragrance.
Okay, next up we've got Acqua Di Gio Profumo. So this one, 2015, Alberto Morillas. I really think this is just, a versatile, safe scent. I think all of the Acqua Di Gios are kind of that way. It's aquatic, woodsy. It's refreshing yet masculine, which is what I love so much about it. Perfect for the summertime, spring. You think more of the aquatic for the summertime, but I think this could definitely work for, fall or winter as well. You get the C notes, incense, bergamot, patchouli. It's a nice mix.
And I think you're right about just the performance year round. When you think about these marine fragrances, typically going to be oriented more towards the summer months. This one I think has a lot of feasibility in the fall and winter even. Okay, so next up, this is a fragrance, I'll just say with maybe some caution up front. Summer months, don't go crazy with the sprays, but I would say in 90% of situations, this certainly could work year round. This is Zegna Forte. So I have mentioned this in some other videos in the past. I think maybe just one. It was just the tobacco video that we did. And this is a light tobacco fragrance. Notes here, honey, tonka bean, amber, lavender, tobacco, ginger, and pink pepper. What you get mostly is this is a sweet with the honey, and then you also get some citrus in here, and then pink pepper. It just has this very kind of light tobacco feel to it. When you think of tobacco, you're thinking this very dense with some ambers. Like you read the note breakdown and you're thinking about like a wave is going to hit you. This is lighter. Tobacco fades, I would say, it comes a little bit later on in the dry down. You get really more of this sweet off the top. Kind of actually reminds me of a really attainable Xerjoff Naxos in a way. Oh. It kind of has some of that scent profile, or maybe less mature than that, and of course coming at a way less of a price. Not on the same level, of course, but still pretty well done. Go careful on the sprays in the summertime, but I think certainly could be workable, maybe even year round.
Yeah, I really like this one, and I think when you think of those sweeter scents, it's kind of hard to picture how it could work for the summer, but I picture this one perfectly for like a summer date night, something, more intimate.
Maybe not perfect for that scenario, but more like you could, that would be the time, like if you're gonna pull it off in the summer, this is where that would work. But this is more fall, winter, maybe spring for its wearability.
But you absolutely could make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, next we have Tom Ford Beau de Jour. This one is a fougere classic, the lavender, patchouli, rosemary, oak moss. It's very barbershop. I know we included it in our barbershop video. It's a classic fougere, but for the 21st century. I think it has a simplistic, modern approach to it that doesn't make it seem dated or too mature. I mean, it definitely does lean mature, I would say, but nothing that, you couldn't get away with wearing.
I remember just going into Sephora one day while you were looking at other things, and I just started spraying this, and I left with a few sprays on. I really liked it.
You were hooked.
It's nothing that's so extraordinary and different, but one thing I will also say just about the fougere genre, this barbershop genre, this is so classic 20th century masculine in terms of like this defined that like men's fragrance in so many ways. So to think that it could work year round is not a crazy thought. Like this is really what this was for.
It smells clean. It reminds me of like when you just get done shaving and you just smell like a clean guy. When you're thinking of a versatile year-round scent, clean is kind of the safest option. That's how everybody should smell, right?
And women usually like that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so next up, and I'll just say that you could probably go for any Hugo Boss bottled. This is Boss Bottled Intense. I actually think this might be moving on its way out, might be discontinued, but I still really like this one, so I'm just gonna mention it here. But this fragrance to me is really nice. I think it could be worn year round because this one specifically, it's warm, spicy, but not so like dark and dense. It's more airy in terms of its approach. This one specifically has some spices in it with cinnamon, cloves, and then you have apple that kind of adds some sweetness off the top with the vanilla that's going to come a little bit later on. Wood's in the backbone, so it's just, to me, a very easy fragrance to wear year round. I would say it's best in the fall, still could be worn very well in the spring, and even the winter. It has enough, I think, projection to make that work. And then in the summer, I don't think it's gonna gas people out at all. There's many different fragrances that you can pick out in the Boss Bottle collection, so I think have some fun with it. This is probably the favorite of the ones I've tried, so definitely really solid.
All right, next we have Versace Dylan Blue, and I think that some people might be on the fence about this one. I do think it's mass appealing, but it does have this very strong ambroxan, which can sometimes be a little bit headache inducing for me. I don't know if everyone else feels that way or if you feel that way, but you get the ambroxan, bergamot, grapefruit, incense. It also has those aquatic notes. It's comparable, I think, to Dior Sauvage, but definitely strong on the ambroxan.
Well, so is Dior Sauvage EDT, and which is really funny though, this came out like literally months after Dior Sauvage. So it's not like, there's definitely a reason why they went in this direction. This was following the trend of what was very popular. It's versatile, Swiss Army knife of like this, this genre of fragrance that can just be worn. It's more sporty, youthful, safe, I would say, for somebody that wants was gonna get a lot of compliments potentially, or just get people to be like, oh yeah, that's a pleasant smell. Be careful in more intimate environments. Again, I would not go crazy on the sprays here. It's going to do just fine for you, about 3 to 4 sprays, if that, depending on the type of weather outside. But not my favorite anymore, but still I think a solid fragrance from Versace, and I think it also has helped solidify their reputation of being a good brand to look at if you're just kind of getting started out, and also just wanting kind of some mass appealing fragrances for the money.
Yeah, some of you might look at it and think, oh, it's a bit boring, but sometimes basics, they get the job done, they work for a lot of people. Youthful, safe, versatile, Versace Dylan Blue.
So next up, this is a fragrance that I mentioned quite a bit. Some people are not gonna like this one as much, but I like it. This is Encre Noire Sport. This is just a great approach to this woody genre of fragrance. So vetiver, cypress, grapefruit, watery notes, bergamot. And some people, like just the standard Encre Noire. I think this is a little bit more wearable than that, and I think more people will like it. Also, I think it has a bit more viability in the summertime, just because of this kind of the watery types of lift that this one has compared to some of the other from Encre Noire.
It just reminds me of a guy that's going to play tennis or going for a swim.
Yeah, just sprayed some on my arm. I mean, I wear this one from time to time, and this is still, it's not like like something I go to all the time, but it's just one of those fragrances that I think could be worn in a variety of different situations. I could see you doing it where it's more of like a gym scent. It could work there. Yeah. It could also work in an office environment. And I think there's very seldom seen where you can see a fragrance that's able to achieve in both of those different situations.
Not going to offend anybody for sure. All right, next we have another popular one, Bleu de Chanel. This is the EDT version. You've got the grapefruit, incense, amber, lemon, ginger, cedar, mint, and pepper in this one. It's a woody aromatic, a little bit more of a grown-up Sauvage. Honestly, it's hard to pick between the two. I think they're...
Oh, I prefer this, no question, to me.
See, I think the Johnny Depp stuff has me a little bit, maybe...
You're thinking with your emotions rather than your head. Yes. I personally like this a little bit more. Yes. There's a reason why Sauvage, spoiler alert, is not on this list. And it's just because I'm a little bit tired of mentioning it and people talking about it. But if you want this genre fragrance, you want to have something that's a little more elevated. I would say also with the lack of like the strong note of ambroxan in Sauvage. This, to me, I think is a bit more appropriate for an everyday, personally.
I will say I do prefer this over Dylan Blue that I mentioned earlier, just because it doesn't have that strong ambroxan, which honestly sometimes really gives me a headache. So I think this is a great option. Safe, versatile, can't go wrong.
So next here, we have Montblanc Explorer. I've mentioned this one on the channel. I just find this one pleasant. I think it's my favorite from Montblanc. Bergamot, ambroxan. I also have vetiver, pink pepper, leather. And then this is, off the top, you have this just citrus blast as well, which I really like. I actually think the opening is quite nice. Usually some of these more attainable fragrances, off the top, you have these crazy citrus openings, and it's just not really for me. This one actually does come off quite well to my nose. And also, People commonly will compare this one to Aventus, and I actually can see where people are coming from with this one, more than some others that are constantly classified as kind of having that Aventus type of feel.
I think actually most Montblancs could be included on this list. I think a lot of them are very versatile. I think that's the point behind many of them, to be a very affordable, versatile scent.
Yep. Legend could certainly be here as well, so if that's something you like a little bit more, that DNA is great too. But these are just no nonsense, and that's the whole point of this video, so I think they have to be included in some aspect.
Next up, we have YSLY. This is the EDP version, and I feel like I've been, kind of showcasing the more popular, somewhat basic scents. Notes for this one include apple, ginger, bergamot, sage, amberwood, tonka, and cedar. This one dries down into a resinous wood. Compared to the other ones, I don't like it as much, but again, still a very safe option.
Yeah, this gets a lot of hype, and one other thing I'll mention about this is talking about year-round versatility. Maybe amongst the best on this list just because performance, also very good on this. Last one here, I think actually probably my personal favorite on this list, to be honest with it. This is Dunhill Icon. So this one includes pepper, bergamot, lavender, neroli, vetiver, and cardamom. I get this fizzy, just kind of neroli-backed opening in mid, which I just like. It does have some synthetic approaches to it, which you would expect for a fragrance of this price. Spicy yet bright. It's fresh, sophisticated. I just really like how this one projects out. Some might not like it just for being maybe a tad mature, but it's slightly sweet, very inviting, and I think is just welcoming in terms of, I think of happiness when I smell this one. I really like it.
It smells like more expensive than it is.
Yeah, and it's also approaching this everyday format with more of an unconventional take, right? There's many out there. You're going to see a lot of this, what we've been going through so far. Actually, not as much. I mean, you have some on your side where you have more of these traditional types of fragrances with like YSL, Y, Bleu de Chanel, Dylan Blue. Like I would say those are kind of all going at it at a similar type of approach.
Yeah.
This is a little bit different as well as some of these others, but I like this one. Yeah. Bottle's very cool too. All right, guys, well, that's all we have for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Really do appreciate that. Also notice that 70% of the people watching are not subscribed yet. So what are you doing? Definitely subscribe. It costs you no money whatsoever. And you can unsubscribe at any time, I promise.
But don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. But anyway, thank you again so much for watching. Also, leave a comment down below if you have another fragrance of this style that you would recommend to people or something you wear all the time. Thank you again so much for watching. We'll see you all next time.